this is how we you get to the buttons and take your remote apart. This procedure also applies to replacing the battery. So, but today we're going to carry out the repair on the buttons, as they're intermittent. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So let's get on. So basically, all you need to get the key apart is a flat-bladed screwdriver. This is obviously Ford Mondeo, but I think it applies to the focus key, the older Focuses and the Fiestas as well. So basically all you need to do is just put it in there. There's a little gap there. You see I've had mine apart already. Just gently put it in there, into the little gap, and just gently twist it and you'll notice it will pop apart. And once you do that, you notice it's moved up. So then that allows you to pull it apart like that. Obviously this is the key. But the chip and everything's obviously in this bit, it's there. And then what you need to do is on the sides, you'll have little clips, one there and one there. You should be able to just literally use your fingernail or a little prizing tool and pry up on one end, which then allows you to access the part you need to access. So that's the PCB for the key fob. Remote central locking. This is your battery. So if you need to replace your battery, the procedure is the same. RC2032, and that's where it's located. This is the board that we access to repair the buttons. Now, normally you will find that they're sort of glued in to an extent. It's plastic tags, so there's one there and one there. The best way to do it is just literally use a standing knife blade and cut the top off of each one, because they just mount the top to flatten it to stop it coming up, and that will allow you to remove this part here and of course the PCB itself. And obviously to put it back, just literally push it back in onto the two tags with this piece of plastic connected, and you can either use glue to glue it back, or in my case I just used a little bit of heat from a soldering iron and just remounted the points to fix it in so it doesn't wiggle around. And in my case it does wiggle around. So there's the piece of plastic there obviously, and then to remove the board, just pry up on each corner and that will allow the board to move out of the housing, and then you can obviously flip it over and get to the buttons. And then obviously also check this area for dry joints as well. I had issues with it actually not working at all, as well as the buttons. Once I got the remote working, the buttons didn't function properly, but the remote did start working. And I actually had issues with the battery terminal, so I just coated them with a bit of solder to give them a better connection to the actual battery connections, which is on this bit. It's quite annoying that I don't have any central locking on the car. And this is the key for the car. Obviously it starts the car fine as the chip is in this bit. So as long as that stays with the key, the car will start and drive fine. The issue is that the central locking remote doesn't work. And I'm not sure if I can show you. That one there, look, is not connected, which obviously stopped that button working. And I think they're all like that, to be fair. They've all got an end that's not connected properly. So we will solder them back up, put a new battery in it, put the key back together, and go from there. It's quite common on these cars, or any remote really, because you're pressing down on the buttons, and over time the solder will break away and cause dry joints, and buttons will intermittently work and then not. 6 connections back on here, and just go over the board and make sure there isn't any obvious dry joints anywhere. Maybe clean up the battery connections a little bit. As I say, it's quite common. It doesn't take a lot to repair them, to be fair. It's just a little bit of solder. obviously gonna actually solder all of the connections. I mean, if you have a soldering iron and you feel confident to be able to strip it apart, anyone can do this really. It's not anything too bad as long as you're confident with a soldering iron. And then obviously the next step will be putting it all back together, testing it out. Is there any more Mondeo videos you'd like to see? How-to videos? Please drop your comments below. Hit the like button and subscribe. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.